Bonjour, everybody. Hi, this is Neshi Lilkatz. Welcome to Star Nation's Communications from Home. It's a Facebook live stream show, yay, and it's powered by Be Live TV. And so we want to welcome everybody to the show, and I just want to show that up there so you know what you're listening to. And it is Tuesday, August 22nd. And just like July, August is flying by so quickly. The last time I looked, it was like August 1st. It's like, so, they say that the Earth resonance has sped up, right? And that's why we feel like our time is going by so quickly. And I have to agree, something's different, over the last, I think it was 1986 when they started measuring the Earth resonance, not just periodically, but a lot. And we're at the highest resonance that the Earth has ever been. And so we're living in a time that nobody else has before that we know of. So welcome to the show. What I'd like to do is a little housekeeping stuff first. Hello, Cheryl Stewart. Welcome to the show. For those who are watching, if I could ask you to do me a favor, and is to like the show and to share it to your timeline or to another group that you like. And I'm going to be doing the same thing right now. I'm using my phone, and I'm going to scroll down and find the show. Scrolling. We got a lot going on right now at Star Nations. Here it is. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to like, and then I'm going to share it to my timeline. But you can share it to your timeline or to a group that you have, because we're going to be talking about some good stuff tonight. And we have, hi, Dana. This is Denise Iwana. Dana is my NAMI. She's my sister, and she's also my business partner in Star Nation's Everything. So, hi. Good you're here. And then we got Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl Stewart. And we also have Alicia from Georgia. Hi, Alicia. Welcome to the show, Star Nation's Communications from Home. And tonight we have with us a guest who is a contributing writer to the Star Nations magazine. And we've been dedicating these first early shows for live stream to our contributing writers for our magazine. And tonight, Sharon Rosenblum is with us tonight, and Sharon contributes to the magazine for the health and healing section. She also writes featured articles for us regarding Jewish holy days, and she's also one of our editors. And I tell you what, she's my editor for everything I write, and I've learned a lot from this lady, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more when she comes on. But as I'm going to introduce her, I've got her bio that we use for the magazine. It's okay, Cheryl. Cheryl says, sorry, I was sharing. No, don't say sorry. I'm so glad you are sharing. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. So Sharon, this is her bio that we use in the magazine. And there's some things in it that some of the people in our community may not know about Sharon. Did you know that Sharon is an empath? Well, she is. And she can assist in reading the energy held within the body so that she can help her clients release those energies. So she's also a light worker. She's a healer. She's able to access the Akashic records, and she provides insights that may come through that are relevant for that healing moment. So some people might not have known that about her, but she's also a Karuna Reiki practitioner. She does Qigong. She's got in touch for health. She is a flower essence practitioner. She's done a lot. She's an educational kinesiology instructor and consultant. She's a feng shui practitioner and space clearing practitioner. And she's also a practitioner of the Arvigo techniques of Maya abdominal therapies. And I've done that. And that, let me tell you, ladies, if you have cramps or anything like that, that kind of therapy is really, really helpful. She has served. This is another thing some people don't know about her. She served in the Air Force. And she was a medic during the Vietnam War and worked as a medical crew member and instructor on an aeromedical airlift evacuations for 14 years. 14 years. While attending nursing school, she felt that there was more to healing than what was traditional and the allopathic medicines offered. And that's when she started her study in the spiritual healing. And let me tell you, I'm so glad she does, because Sharon and I have been friends for a really long time. And she's one of the 5 ladies that I consider, that we call ourselves a sisters. And so we get together every month for telephone calls, actually Skype calls. And so here is my good friend and sister, Sharon. Let's see, we're going to put us both up there. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Neshi. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking some time out for us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I reading your bio, this is what what I found out was going on with this show is that even though we've had members in our community, which is about 5 years now, and that some of our writers have stuff that they do that our community isn't aware of or have done. And so tonight, our listeners and watchers get to hear about some of the things that don't necessarily come directly out in your writing, right?
Right.
And the one thing I didn't add that we don't have in your bio is that that you practice the Jewish faith. And so when we started listing as topics the Jewish holidays, I know that we wanted to lean on you to say, could you help us with this? Because I know that you do practice the holidays. And so thank you for that, because not a lot of people would have jumped in there to do that for those featured articles. Because, the thing is that when those holidays roll around, those Jewish holidays, sometimes Sharon ends up having to write 2 articles in a given month, 2, and do the editing. So she's one busy lady sometimes when those things occur. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that, because I know that it's kind of a crunch time when that happens, so, right? A little bit. She's being polite. And one of the things that I found I was very happy about, and because Sharon moved to Wisconsin, because that's where I live, is in Wisconsin. I live on the west side of the state near the Mississippi River, and Sharon lives on the east side of the state near Lake Michigan. So we got Wisconsin covered, at least the southern part of yeah,
we do.
So Sharon, one of the things I wanted to ask you about your writing, and let's start with the July issue last month, and because you had an article in that particular magazine issue about the inner fire, and I'm going to bring up your article if I can get to it. Get it? All this clicking to be able to get to it. It doesn't just scroll. You got to actually click through. And I've got a lot of pictures now in this for the magazine. Nope, not that one. Here it is. And I'm gonna give this a solo just so people can take a look at it without our faces in it. Because that's one of the things. It was called Fire Within. And one of the topics in July was about fire. And with that, you chose to write about the inner fire with that. And so what I wanted to ask you about, when you write for the health and healing topics, how much do you draw on both your formal education and also your empathic ability? That it's a gift that you have. So how does it come into your article? And if it does, how do you work with it then?
Oh, it's really interesting. I start off sometimes on the topic in one direction, and then all of a sudden it's like I don't know, I sort of morph into and start to feel things, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, no, you've got to talk about this, you have to talk about that. And the subject, while it stays basically the same, because of what I'm picking up on, either from Mother Earth or, even as I'm visualizing what I'm feeling and what I want to say, the actual title will change. Mm-hmm. So, for example, this one is Fire Within, but it was also Fire Power. And so, I was focusing on what's within all of us that can help us heal and take us further in our lives, and how we can incorporate that into our lives. But then it was about the power of fire as well, as a clearing tool. And so those are things that, yes, as I start thinking of them, I begin to feel them in my body, or I can feel the essence of them. Fire is a very powerful element for me. I believe that I totally embrace fire, not only in my jewelry torching, but it's something that I really feel one with. I can be by a campfire, and it's as if I melt right into that fire, and I feel the undulations of it, as the fire moves, the flickering of the flame. And so to go ahead and experience that, try to put it into words, it's a big part of what I try to do in my health and healing articles.
Yes. And here, I'm going to come back up, I think. All these buttons, got to get used to them. Okay, here we go. And you can tell in the articles about that, because you also use your personal experience. Mm-hmm. Articles, right? And so, and especially when in this particular article, you talked about fire being purification, and as a space clearer, how you use that, and you gave us some tips on how to use that. Mm-hmm. But you said something in there that some people might not know about you, and you just kind of said it. You're very nonchalant about it. You said very, very connected to fire. Right? Mm-hmm. And you said because you fire jewelry. Mm-hmm. Now, some of our listeners may not know this, but you make jewelry.
I do.
Can you share a little bit of that with us?
Well, and it comes from the fire, and just always being fascinated with it. I read an article about glass blowers and bead makers, and thought, oh, this is pretty interesting. So I was on vacation in Maine, seeing my family, and there was this person who had been featured in an article, and I asked if I could come by her studio, and that was all it took. She showed me things that she was making, had her torch up, had someone else there in the studio with her, and they were just going to town. I was like, oh my gosh, I have got to do this. Mm. So I make beads, and I'm working on blowing beads, because some of the beads, as they get bigger, become quite heavy. But, to go ahead and incorporate all sorts of patterns on them. I like to do talismans and make little things like a little snake around a bead, and have a bird or a heart, or a 4-leaf clover even. I put a 4-leaf clover on one. I don't know why. I just knew that I needed to put that there. And it's fun. It's a nice creative outflow or output for me. Mm-hmm. That is, it's not too time consuming, but it's a nice little way to relax and still kind of be in the flame.
Yeah, there's creativity, right?
Yes.
And it's the use of fire, because, they're glass beads that you make.
Yes, yes.
Now, I just want to show this. This is Della Badwin. She's in the audience. She's saying, Leela Wash Day, very enlightening. And so, and hi Della. So welcome to the show. There is this thing about the way you write, because you are able to. You were a high school English teacher once a long time ago, once upon a time, right? Mm-hmm. And so to be able not only to edit, but also to write. And I know that you do other writing. I think you write blogs, right? You write blog articles.
Blogs, poetry.
Poetry. Yeah. In fact, I had this brilliant idea. Sorry, I'm just now announcing it, Denise. Dana, I had this brilliant idea for something because we have several of our contributing writers who write poetry that nobody even knew they did.
Oh.
And so I'm thinking maybe sometime in 2018 we should put together a special issue just with our contributing writers and poetry, and we have our executive photographer that maybe what we could do is give her some time and pull together some beautiful pictures that would go along with that poetry, So anyway, I had that idea because I knew that you also wrote poetry. So when you're doing your writing, not just for us, but any writing, and you're looking into the ethers, let's put it that way, do you feel like your writing is that spirit is working through you, a conduit?
That's an interesting question. I do. It's not that I really hear a voice per se. But I do feel some guidance coming through that as I'm typing, and writing my story, it's like, oh, I've got to go ahead and mention this, or don't forget that. It's like a little whisper, but I hear a voice, and it's hard for me to describe. Yeah. So in a way, yes, I think you could go ahead and say spirit does work through me, depending on what the topic is and what my guides or spirit wants me to go ahead and share. Absolutely.
Yeah. Automatic writing, some people might call that. But I'm also showing one of your articles, and I'm sorry to say this. I should know this. I can't remember which article this was in. I'm going to give it a solo so we can actually see what that is. It's water for the health and life. So that must have been May, maybe?
March.
Especially
with the bottom of the page.
With them. They all start to blend together after a while. Okay, and so in this particular one, the picture that you show here is of where?
Ho'okipa Beach in Maui, Hawaii. It's just down the street from where we used to live. It is the windsurfing capital of the world. There's always windsurfing, kite surfing, and regular surfing. And they have different sections of the beach that are designed specifically for, okay, you guys have from the trees on, and other people have, from the wall on, and they have it. And also you can only surf, regular traditional surf, up until 11 o'clock in the morning. No kiting, no wind sails, nothing. Just traditional surf. So that's interesting. And part of that is because the wind doesn't come up until the afternoons over there. At least that's on the North Shore.
Yeah.
And so that's why, there's no wind that time of day. Beautiful beach.
Beautiful. And, and a lot of times your articles, you do submit one of your own photos with your article. And for this one, it was perfect for the article that you had. Now, I also want to say something about the picture behind you, because you and I talked about this one. See, we always have to do an audio check. And so, especially for those who haven't been on the show yet, I want to make sure that we have good audio and everything is working right. And Sharon and I did this yesterday. And I noticed the picture behind her. And I said, that is so beautiful. What is that? Where is that? So if you can link this a little bit so that people can see.
Let's see, I don't know which way to go. I can go this way.
That's good.
There we go. Okay. So let's see.
Okay, come back in the frame.
Okay. So that is a place called Five Graves. There are 5 graves there. And it was just a really serene spot. We were looking for a place to go out snorkeling with the kids one time. And we were told that if we went out here, that we could go around the corner and go through Turtletown, which we did. So Turtletown is by McKenna Beach, and it's where all the turtles hang out. So, we're snorkeling, and not only are there reefs there, but there were just turtles all around us. So it was a very special place. And we had taken this photograph and then had a friend of ours from New Zealand go ahead and paint it. And he did a lovely job.
I would.
Looks fabulous.
It does. I mean, I thought at first, from this perspective, I thought maybe it was a photo, but it's a fine art picture. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I just wanted to share that because you also bring in, of course, your life experiences into your writing, right? Yeah, you do.
Right.
I'm going to show one more picture. And this is the other thing that Sharon does for us. We're going to give that a solo. She writes the featured articles for us regarding Jewish holy days or holidays. And so we've learned quite a bit about the Jewish holidays from Sharon over this past year. And this just happens to be one of them. And it's a revelation of, I'm going to mispronounce this, Shavuot?
Shavuot, either way, yes.
Okay, so could you say it correctly for us, please?
We can call it Shavuot.
Okay. I wasn't going to pretend I even know how to speak Yiddish. I don't. And so your family does practice the holidays, the Jewish holiday. I have to admit, Sharon, is that when I first asked you about it, I kind of thought that we'd be getting from a teacher perspective. This is very educational. But it is that. Don't get me wrong. It is that. It's educational. Okay. But I want our listeners and our audience to know that your Jewish holiday articles are more than that. That you actually give us a peek into your family and how you, as a family, practice these holy days. And there's so many of them that I really enjoyed. There was one that you wrote about where you found this YouTube, and it was of the sound. Now, which one was that?
Oh, the shofar.
Yes.
Yes, the ram's horn, the shofar, which would have been Rosh Hashanah. There's always the blowing of the ram's horn, and the temple that we belong to also has a shofar choir, and all the children up to 3rd or 4th grade are able to participate, and they all buy their own little miniature shofar. Those things, and you have to clean them. They smell horrible. But, so you're spending all this time scrubbing them out and everything, and then trying to actually blow them because it is a horn, an actual animal's ram's horn. At Temple, the director of the shofar choir is an adult, and he has a very, very long one. So, and he will go ahead. The final note, Zakiya, is supposed to be held for as long as possible. And they used to have contests to see who could hold it the longest. Yeah, the kids would always say, "I can do that, I can do that," but they really couldn't. And the fellow who was the head of the choir was not heavy or really big. He was just an average sized guy, but boy, he could just belt that tone out, and it gives you shivers.
Yeah,
really. When you listen to that.
It kind of reminds me sort of the shell that the Hawaiians, the kahunas, and also it's also by Aztecs, the same kind of conch. Yes. And so that's what it reminded me of, really. Something I could relate to. But so thank you for bringing to us, the readers, an insight into the Jewish holidays that we may not get anywhere else, and so I think it's very special that you do that for us.
Well, it's my pleasure to share that with you. Thank you.
And and I know that there's those times when you have to write or 2 articles and do editing, and I try to be kind to you and say, you can let that one go for a while, and if you could just get this one done and help you with that a little bit. But and speaking of editing, because I knew that Sharon was a very good editor, and edits many different kinds of writing. That's one thing a lot of people don't know, is that just because you're an editor doesn't mean that you can edit everything. There's editors for different aspects of a piece of writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that Sharon was going to bring with her her background as a English teacher, which is, about grammar, right? And it's also about the content and the flow. But you also edit for technical medical stuff, writing.
Yes,
for journals,
yes,
right?
I do.
Because you have a couple of doctors in your family that you help with their writing.
Mm-hmm. True.
But one of the things that I think that the contributing writers who turn to Sharon for her expertise in editing, I have to say that we very much appreciate you in your editing, because it helps us to become better writers.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's part of the goal, isn't it?
At least for me it was. At least for me it was. And so with your editing, how do you go about keeping the writer's voice as the primary voice in an article, and not have your voice come in?
That's where it gets really interesting. And I wasn't even aware that I was doing this. However, I start to hear the voice of the person who's writing. It's as if that person is talking to me. And some of the authors that I work with, I've never met or heard their voices. And male or female, it's a different voice. And I know that it has to be that individual. So I pick up on the cadence, if you will, the rhythm of their speech pattern and the words that they use, so that I can melt them together with a thesaurus aspect that's in my head to get the right words, because sometimes the wrong word might be used. And it's like, what do you think of this one? So I make suggestions. Yeah. But it's truly because I actually hear the voice of the writer. Yeah. And that's how it keeps it going that way.
Yeah. And I wanted our audience to know that. Because Star Nations magazine is a spiritual magazine, and that all the contributors write from that perspective, that our editor actually edits from that perspective. And I know that Eunice Norwood, who is also one of our editors, does the same thing. Yeah. Now, from that perspective of spirit, and thank you for sharing that, because I just wanted to make sure our audience knew that, because that's one piece that may not be so overt, so out there, because that's one of the things that goes on behind the scenes, behind the curtain, right?
Right.
Oh my gosh, there's lots of conversation happening in the chat room. There's Del Marie joined us. Del Marie Bradfield. She is also one of our contributing writers. We actually use her radio show as the elder wisdom piece in the magazine, because she's a Lakota elder. And she started telling about the medicine wheel and the different aspects of it. And I thought, this is perfect for the magazine. And so we include that. And so I just wanted to mention that because she's in the chat room, and she's got a class coming up this weekend in Michigan at Star Nations East on the medicine wheel from the Lakota perspective. So, hi, Del Marie. It's good to see you there. And her sister, Hunka's sister, Della Bad Wound, is in the house too. And Denise Iwana is one of her Hunka sisters, adopted sisters. So, yeah, so we got family in the house tonight.
Yes.
So I just wanted to leave a couple of seconds here for you to be able to add anything that you would like. Last words for the audience. What would you like them to know about you, or where, and if they wanted to find you as a healer, how would they find you?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't make that too easy. Well, you can always find me I have information with my bio and my articles with my email address, or actually through Star Nations magazine.
Mhm.
And certainly, you can get a hold of me there. I don't know.
We both froze. I don't know. Huh. I think we're both back.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know what happened there.
I don't know either. I don't know. Well, it is Mercury retrograde, so just about anything can happen. I don't know if it was Facebook. I don't know if it was the internet. I don't know if it was Be Live, but it was a second that we froze, and then we came back.
Yes.
It's magic. So thank you so much, Sharon, for being with us tonight. I appreciate it, for you to take some time away from family to join us.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been wonderful.
And I just wanted to hang out in the green room, okay? And we'll be right back with you. Just hang on. I'll be as soon as the show's in. That way, you and I can chat a little bit. So hang on.
Great. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
So wasn't that fun? What I wanted to do is talk a little bit about what's going on at Star Nations. Yeah. Okay. I was going to show you another picture, but that's not going to work. We're going to have to do it this way. This is the August issue of Star Nations magazine. It's our 50th issue. And you can get your copy of Star Nations magazine and print on demand. You can get it for digital for Apple and Android. I don't know. It's got to be Mercury retrograde kind of stuff. I have no idea what's going on. I'm going to try to get through this quickly. Okay. So you can go to our website, which is starnations.org. And we have information there on how you can get your own copy of the magazine. And I want to just let you know that through our partners at magcloud.com is where you get the print on demand and the PDF and the web viewer, okay? So you can go there to get more information about the magazine. I also wanted to share with you about the 2 books that we've published this summer. Actually, this is Julie Hedges' book, The Tarot Journey, Volume 1. And Julie's book published in February. And you can get this book in print and also ebook. And if you are really like tarot and love that ancient language, that is a really good book for you to get because Julie does a step-by-step in there. It's really great. And so here's the second book. This is Missing Nana by author Minnie Kansman. And this book is a special book because it helps children of all ages to be able to work through their grief after a loved one has walked on, has crossed over, transitioned back into spirit. And what's unique about that particular book is because Minnie helps us to connect to the nature spirits who help us through that grief. And so it's really a very special book. And the pictures in here were drawn by Christine Pollock, and they're actually paintings that she did, and then they were turned into pictures. So very, very nice book. One of my favorite ones. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to sign off because I don't know how long this is going to last, this connection. I mean, this is the first time we've had some issues with the internet with Be Live. So we'll see. So thank you so much for being with me this evening, Neshi Lolkatz. And next week on Star Nations Communications from Home, our guest is going to be Minnie Kansman. Now, Minnie Kansman was our guest last month, but you know what? She had problems with her telephone line. So we are going to have her back next week, and we are going to do that interview with her. So join us next week, Tuesday. What is next week, Tuesday's date? I don't even know. Let's see. The date is, next Tuesday is the 29th. August 29th. And so if you join us next week at 8 p.m. Eastern, join me with Minnie Kansman, all right? Well, have a nice evening, and we'll see you next week. And Bama Mina, which means in Potawatomi, we'll see you until we see each other again, all right? Good night.